All right. Let's get this thing going. Good morning, XRP Army. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone had a great weekend. We have a lot of stuff to cover today because we had great ETF news, right? On Thursday and Friday, great ETF was falling the entire time. All weekend, we've had nothing but a price fall. And even this morning, we've had nothing but a pullback. So we're going to cover all that. And there's a lot of things going on that I think a lot of people need to be aware of. And I did put recession in the thumbnail and in the title because it is a very real concern we need to discuss. And I'm going to show you guys the why behind it and the make sure with you guys. I love speaking with all of you about next ETF release, what you think it will do to the numbers. Well, what numbers are we talking about? Are we talking about the price of XRP or are we talking about inflows? What numbers are you wanting to know? Because if we, as we discussed, right, day one launch is not going to impact. If you guys saw any of my shorts over the previous week, um, the price is not going to be impacted by inflows day one. So what numbers are you wanting to know about there, Paul? I'll gladly answer that question. Moving forward, I want to pull up the price action here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. I love being able to interact with you all. Comments have been great on the videos. I just want to take a second and let every single one of you know I appreciate it. And as always, if it's your first time, kick back, relax. I ask nothing of you. But if it's your second video, second stream, I ask you to hit subscribe, smash the like button, and leave a comment. I love talking with you all. Price and supply mainly from a large supplier. Well, I mean, Franklin Templeton is going to be huge as far as inflows. They are a massive institution. So as far as inflows coming in, I think we're going to see more than what we saw on Canary Capital, right? Which is small potatoes compared to Franklin Templeton. So as far as inflows, as far as price goes, I don't think we're going to see an immediate jump on Tuesday. I think we may see increases throughout the week. Um, but I don't think we're really going to see major price action this week. I don't think we're going to see major price action until this is consistently ramping up. I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a sharp spike like a lot of people are thinking. I think it's going to take time for things to build up over the next month or so. My opinion, not financial advice. And again, everything you guys see here is not financial advice. It's just my opinion, what I think, believe, and do. I am not a financial advisor. But I do believe it's going to take time, much like XRP over here, not going to affect the price. I don't think it's going to have a direct impact on the price immediately because most of these, and I put this in the ETF, I put this in the ETF video. Actually, I didn't put it in the ETF video. I commented on the ETF video. Actually, you commented as well. But most of these ETF issuers purchase through what's the word? The providers, right? The APs. Most of these issuers purchase through the APs, and most of these APs are going to purchase the XRP OTC, right, over the counter. They don't actually purchase it off of exchanges like we do throughout the day. So it's not going to have a direct impact on price. It is going to remove XRP from the supply and continue to tighten the supply, which is what eventually will make the price go up, right? Demand, supply shrinks, demand increasing. Eventually it will go up, but we're not going to see huge spikes like people think. That's not how it's going to work. Even there are questions about how much will really affect the price. So, I mean, we don't know until we know. We're all theorizing. Obviously, you have your own theory. I think a different thing. I do think there's going to be a supply shock. I mean, to me, that's basic supply and demand. If there's no supply and people are trying to buy it, they're going to have to pay more to get it. I mean, that's just supply and demand. So it really comes down to how much available XRP is out there. And that's been the great debate. Some people say there's a ton of it out there, and some people think there's very little. And according to, the exchange data and all that, then absolutely, it looks like we're going to reach a shortage. My opinion, not financial advice. I'm curious what you all think. XRPs, tell me, what do you guys think about the available supply on the exchanges? I mean, there's been nothing but reports since June that the supply has been getting less and less. I'm curious to know what you all think. But while we're talking, this is a great time for this. I've been watching this happen on the other screen, but I'm going to pull it up here for you. So this morning we had a pullback right here. We dropped from 227 all the way back down to 220. We bounced off our support. And now, as of the market open, literally as of the last 8 minutes while we've been talking, this has shot up to 229. And again, we don't have an ETF launch today or anything like that. This is just price action. Now, the reason I was talking about recession, and I think it's important because we need context. And with XRP, the context is weird to me, and just my opinion. And I'll explain why I think that. But first, I have to bring you guys some news that's not really out there, but it's some of the people I watch. And I'll hop back into the chat in a little bit. I see you guys. But this is from the Financial Times. This was reported 2 days ago. The New York Fed convened a meeting with Wall Street firms over key lending facility. So this was about basically, this is the Fed talking to Wall Street about their balance sheets, essentially, and what it's coming down to. I'll read it to you here. New York Federal Reserve President John Williams convened a meeting with Wall Street dealers this week over a key short-term lending facility, underscoring officials concerned about strains on U.S. money markets. This hastily arranged meeting, this was a secret emergency meeting. They had this meeting under the guise of something else, and then later, when they were questioned about it, admitted that they did have it. This hastily arranged meeting, which has not been previously reported, took place on the sidelines of the Fed's annual Treasury Market Conference on Wednesday, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. It comes at a time when banks, investors, and officials are concerned about signs of stress in an arcane but vital corner of the U.S. financial system. Williams solicited feedback from primary dealers, mostly banks that underwrite the government's debt, on the use of the Fed's standing repo facility, which central bank officials describe as a crucial pressure relief valve to help them keep short-term borrowing costs within their target range. A representative from the 25 primary dealers in attendance, people said they noted attendees were broadly members of banks, teams specializing in fixed income markets. A spokesperson for the New York Fed confirmed that the meeting took place. President Williams convened the New York primary trading counterparties, primary dealers, to continue engagement on the purpose of the standing repo facility. And I can keep talking about this in monetary policy, but this is about the repo rates. I have mentioned this many times, okay? Basically, what happens is when you get to these overterm lendings, they have to, it's basically a stopgap between paying their interest and not, I'm trying to think of a way to easily explain it. So the repo market's a basically overnight stopgap to borrow money to pay off your debts the next day. It's a liquidity thing. So basically what this is saying is, oh, I didn't even pull up the right thing. Damn it. I'm sorry, guys. I was reading it to you. I need to get used to this. Let me pull up the right thing here for you so you can see it. You were looking at the chart the whole time. This is from the New York, this is from Financial Times, the New York Fed. I just read it to you, so I won't read it again. But the New York Fed convened a secret emergency meeting with Wall Street firms over key lending. And they did it on the side while they were talking about Treasury stuff. So this is about as legit of a source as you can get that this happened. And they were discussing the repo markets. And I want to pull the repo markets up over here. And let me make sure I switch the screens. Gosh, then I need to fix this. I do not like the way this works. All right. So, but when we look at the repo markets over here, you can see, look at these spikes back here. When was this? This was at the end of 19 going into 20, right? This is when we had COVID, when we had this mass pressure. So basically, and then we come over here and we can see it starting to spike again. So basically what this is them saying is like, hey, you got some money? We need some money. And the higher this gets, this is people saying, nah, we don't have any money right now. But you couple that in with the rising debt and what's going on in the private sectors, with the bankruptcies and things like that. So we have private credit wobbling. We have a liquidity crisis forming in the middle of Q4, which is god awful. So we have a liquidity, liquidity crisis forming. We have public credit or private credit wobbly, debt's at an all-time high. And then we're going to move over here. This is the fear and greed index. We are at an all-time low since 2 years. We haven't been at a 21. This is why the prices have been plummeting all week. Okay. Tightness in the repo markets, shakiness in private credit, fear and greed is at an all-time low. All right. And then we go over here and we pull up the odds of a rate in December. Basically, the Fed rug pulled the rate cuts in December. Now there's like a 46% chance of a rate cut in December. That also came out over the weekend. So we have all of this information, negative downward pressure on the markets. And really, if things continue to get bad, poor jobs data as well. I didn't even put that on here. Poor jobs data came out. So odds of another quarter point interest rate cut by Federal Reserve next month slumped on Thursday amid hawkish comments from policymakers and a Wall Street sell-off driven by slide and tech stocks. According to CME Fed Watch Tool, traders now see a 49.6% chance, so just under 50% chance of a 25 basis point cut in December versus the 62.9% a day ago, 69.6% a week ago. So this is going to cause, this is going to cause a drop in the markets, right? They're anticipating, it's all a gamble, guys. So they're anticipating the drop and a whopping 95.5% a month ago. So we basically 50% of the money that was baked into the stock market for this cut that's going to supposedly happen or not happen in December basically just got pulled out when this news came out. It is essentially how that works. And then, so we got the fear and greed index, we got the repo markets, we got the New York Fed, we've got the chart going. We have covered everything. I want questions. Let me look at the questions here. Supply for the big guys buying the ETF, but hopefully supply shock starts in December. I think I would be inclined to agree with you that, Paul, between ISO 20022, between the rising pressure of the ETFs, between the utility and the adoption, between the liquidity crisis issues. And that's where XRP gets crazy for me and for a lot of people, is that XRP can fix a lot of these issues. XRP can completely fix this liquidity repo issue that we have, but just by freeing up the velocity of money, the velocity that XRP will unleash when it is finally utilized is going to increase the economy by, fivefold, probably, just by the fact they can move money around. Let's see what XRP over here says. He says, digit end of year predictions. You can all take your 3, 4, 5 digit end of year predictions and be more honest about the facts that real expectations. Jake Claver is a good salesman for his own interest, but nowhere in reality. I have never believed we were going to have a 3, 4, 5 digit XRP by the year end. I thought that the ETFs were going to unlock they were going to unlock the liquidity pipes, if you will. And as XRP is removed from the market, we are going to see a steady climb. I don't think it's going to be like a rocket ship or anything like that. I don't know how high it can get. It depends on how much XRP is actually available, but I do know the demand is rapidly increasing. So it's really going to come down to the supply shock question, which is all over the place. I mean, I am not the only person that has talked about a potential supply shock with XRP, but the adoption and demand is undeniable. So it's really going to come down to the question of how much XRP is available and how quickly is it going to get gobbled up. My opinion, not financial advice. Issuers will buy on OTC first, then on exchanges. That's where there will be no supply shock overnight. I completely agree with you, George Lorenzo. That is what I have been saying. I think they will, until the OTCs run out and the dark pools run out. Let's not forget, a lot of these exchanges do have dark pools available where an authorized participant can go to an exchange even and purchase from their dark pool. That would have to run out before we even see like real spot buying pressure. But do not forget, it's still removing supply. We're not going to see a sharp jump up, but as the supply lowers and demand continues to increase, it will rise. It's just not going to be this rocket ship spike overnight that people think about. And I've been trying to clarify that. I've been trying to take those terms that a lot of people have been saying and putting real context to it and real macro events behind it to explain what I think it's going to look like. And I think a lot of people hear these terms and confuse what I'm saying and just immediately think I'm talking about, $1,000 pump on XRP or something. That's never been what I was about. And I did do a video one time talking about the $1,000 XRP price prediction. And I think that's where a lot of people got confused, because I said in that video I expected it to be somewhere between $15 and $25. Hopefully by the end of the year, my opinion, not financial advice, based on what's available in supply. I was not one of those $1,000 XRP people. If that's why you subscribed, I'm sorry. I did not mean to mislead anyone. I didn't think I did. Moving on. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for the interaction, XRP. I appreciate you. It's been great chatting with you. Paul, you as well. George, appreciate your comment. Mark, Monad Thought. I missed you. Monad Thought. Can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on that for me? Maybe I'm just way out of it. I don't know what monad is. I'm Googling. I'm way out of it. Most performant EVM blockchain. When did this come live? I feel like I am out of the loop on this here. Let's take a look. I'm glad to be educated. I appreciate you. Let's educate me. Let's educate me together. Monad. Let's see. Reject these cookies. All right. High performance EVM blockchain built for scale. Monad's next generation. Ethereum compatible chain delivering 10,000 TPS sub low fees, scalable decentralization. How new is this? Anyone? Did the bank, let's see, I'm missing. Did the bank using XRP Ledger right? What price are they using? Private ledger or public? Did the bank using XRP Ledger right? Can you rephrase the question? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there, three brothers. Did the bank are using XRP Ledger right? I don't know what you're asking. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Fast, familiar, frictionless, decentralized, built beyond scale without limits. This looks like a new project. I have not really looked too much into this. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I'm certainly going to look at it. Based on what I'm seeing here, it's new. I don't see any partnerships, build resources, testnet. I don't see any partnerships. It looks like it's a new startup. Monad Media, institutions, learn about blockchain solutions. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a newer company. They're going to have some legs to them before I really put anything into it. Before I have any deep research or ideas into it. The reason I'm so about XRP is because, excuse me, the reason I'm so much about XRP is because of the large amounts of institutional adoption. I mean, the partnerships. I'm very much in politics and life and business. I'm very much follow the money, guys. I'm gonna follow the money. The money tells you where to go, because a lot of those people with money write the rules, and they're not going to write rules to lose themselves money. And that's just facts of life. I don't know how else to say it. A lot of people don't like those things, but follow the money. Look what the big money is doing to help you develop your ideas and thoughts as far as what you're going to do with your money. There are books and examples as far as the eye can see throughout history of how to. Let me turn this back on. There are books and examples throughout history of how wealth is gained and lost, and I'm telling you, it repeats itself. Just you can learn from it. Janine, welcome. Janine Q. If you guys don't know Janine, she comments on every single video. She's been one of my first subscribers, and she has been around since the beginning. Can you give us an analysis on your thoughts now that the markets are open on the charts? Big jump on the XRP chart when Franklin T starts their buys. We should look for hefty buy to support XRP going forward. All right, Janine. So you missed it at the beginning, so I'll hop in here and I'll catch you up. My personal opinion on ETF. This is not going to be a rocket ship straight line overnight. This will be a gradual build as the pipes turn on and liquidity flows into these ETFs. Okay. Because a lot of these ETFs, you're right, there was a big jump up this morning. I think that was in, you can see it right here. I think that was in regards to the sell off pre market. That's what I think. And a lot of times too, remember the first 15 minutes of the market is manipulation setting up the next move. So really we had a dump and then a buy and now it's coming back down. So I would say we have an idea, we'll have a better idea of what today is going to look like within about 30 minutes or so if you're looking for that. As far as recapping on the ETFs, again, inflows are going to cause a slow pressure build over the next 6 weeks and continuing on. But I think from tomorrow, after tomorrow, so from Wednesday, because the inflows will not hit until day 2. So I think from Wednesday moving forward, and so between today and now is going to be macro, leverage, positioning, liquidity, inflows from Canary Capital's ETF. Like that's all that's going to happen between now and tomorrow. Even remember, all the buying on the Franklin Templeton ETF tomorrow, those inflows are not going to hit until Wednesday until they have to have new order creation. And then, so I believe that we will see constant pressure as supply is removed from the available supply, right? As XRP is removed from the available supply with these ETFs and they continue adding in and continue adding in, we will see a steady rise over the next 6 weeks, depending on macro sentiment, right? Because we talked about, Janine, you can go back and rewatch, but we talked about a possible recession brewing, and that is a very real thing. I am not trying to be hypey or anything like that for you guys or scare tactics. If you look at the data, if you look at everything that's been happening with the fear and greed index, with the repo markets, with private credit, with the job numbers coming out, with the December rate cuts getting rug pulled on us, like literally all of these things are bad macroeconomic pressure. So there's a very real chance that inflows could slow down. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but we have to think about the real world. Now, again, the conundrum with XRP is, again, I've said it in previous videos, every single macro event that forces price down in crypto highlights the need for XRP even more. This repo issue and liquidity issues, like there is literally a liquidity crisis brewing in the world right now that nobody is talking about. It's completely not even being discussed. That's why I'm trying to bring you guys the repo markets. That's why I'm trying to bring you guys the information about emergency Fed meetings in New York that no one's talking about. Okay. That, like, no one talks about this stuff in crypto. It's all in the broader. I don't know where I'm getting that from. It's all in the broader macroeconomic sentiment that is forcing entire markets down. And ultimately, because crypto is still considered a risk on assets by major institutions, that's where money is going to get pulled from first when there's any kind of macroeconomic pressure. And it's important that we understand these cycles and what's really behind them, because a bull cycle can get ended quickly if the economy goes into recession. Let's see here. Hawaii Rider buying XRP at 35 cents and 45 cents. I've been waiting a long time. I'm not taking any profit till the ETFs drop. The Clarity Act goes through. Really existing. I'm right there with you, man. Hawaii Rider, I appreciate the comment. I am a buy and die XRP holder. I've lost hundreds of $1,000s once already from not taking profits and watching the price drop in 2021, and then I lost a ton of money again when I got divorced. So I've had to start over twice with XRP. Right now, I believe, I haven't checked it recently. I'll have to check it again. I believe my average buy rate on my current stack of XRP is about $1.42, I think. But I'm not, and everyone's still forgetting the Fed Master Account and the bank charter. These are going to plug them directly into the institution and give them the opportunity to fix a lot of these issues. So with a potential recession looming, okay, let's take this a step further. I'll give you guys a little bit more. So with the potential recession looming, what did they do last time we had repo numbers like what I showed you? Let me pull it back up here and we can discuss it. Let's go up here. Where'd it go? Repo markets. There it is. Repo. Okay, sure. So what was going on last time we had this kind of stress on the repo markets over here? This was COVID, right? End of 2019, 2020. What did they do? They came out with stimulus checks. They stopped fractional banking. If you guys remember that. So stimulus checks, they stopped fractional banking. What did they do? What has Trump been talking about doing? He's been talking about giving people a $2,000 stimulus from the tariffs, right? What did they just do? They had emergency bank meetings, okay? So they're already prepping for this, in my opinion, not financial advice. They are already prepping for this. And I don't think they're going to issue stimulus checks. I mean, we saw the inflation last time. So they're going to have to find another solution to this liquidity issue. Because I don't think stimulus is the answer. I mean, but then again, either solution, they print more money, it pumps our bags. They turn to XRP as a solution, it pumps our bags. The only thing that doesn't pump our bags, the only thing that doesn't pump our bags is if we go into recession. And I don't think they're going to let that happen. I really hope they don't let that happen. I mean, that's just going to be bad for all of us. But that is very, very real information and very, very real possibility for all of us. So thank you, Janine and Hawaii Rider and XRP, for your comments. I appreciate it. Really exciting. I sold the farm to buy XRP. I mean, I considered it. I'm not going to lie. I did consider it, especially with this pullback that we've had here. Uh, I considered taking the money, the equity I have in the house, and investing it. Because I'm on short-term disability right now, so my investment funds are limited. Um, but I did consider that as well, Hawaii Rider. You got bigger balls than me, my friend. Apologies for my language. Janine says, "Yeah, Trump seems like the president that likes alternate solutions." Well, I mean, if they want the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world, they need to put the money where their mouth is and actually start investing in U.S. crypto projects that don't have Trump attached to them. World Liberty Financial, 30% sell off before everything happened on October 10th. I mean, come on, we're not stupid. We know what we're looking at. All right, guys, this has been a great live stream. I appreciate every single one of you. Oh, you borrowed from the 401k. Okay. Well, my last investment that I made, again, none of this is financial advice, but I love talking with you guys and talking with other XRP enthusiasts and seeing what you guys think, feel, and do. This community really is amazing. So Janine, she borrowed from the 401k. I mean, I would if I could. My 401k is no longer in existence. That also got wiped out during the divorce, and I had to start different investment strategies. But I think that how do I put this? Trump seems like I borrow from my 401k. I did. So what I did is the most recent thing I did. My mom, she passed away in 2022, and she left me her retirement fund, or a portion of her retirement fund, and I never closed it out, and I did have to close it out here recently, and I've been using that to help myself live off of, and I also have been reinvesting and buying as well. So basically, I took her 401k and have been investing in XRP, Janine. So thanks, Mom. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Hawaii Rider, I think the Clarity Act will push us new limits. I agree. I think the Clarity Act is really going to open up, is really going to cause the banks to lean in more. I mean, Brett Garlinghouse was saying that himself, that once the Genius Act came in, the banks really think about the ramp up in stablecoin usage and the ramp up in stablecoin production since the Genius Act. I think we'll see the same kind of ramp up with the utility tokens after the Clarity Act, and they're really pushing on that. They are really pushing on that right now. It is being worked on right now in the Senate. George Lindros swap all my BTC for XRP. I mean, if we're looking for a chance on ROI, I mean, that is a gamble. But if we're years, I hold both. I have 5 crypto Pentagon that I invest in, and I invest in all those, and of course, heavily weighted towards XRP. XRP is 60% of my bag. Let's see here. Hawaii Rider. The Godfather said you can live with them and you can't kill them. Yeah, that's true. Yes, I hope it brings you so many blessings. Appreciate it, Jenny. It's been a rough few years, but you know what? I'll tell you what. Considering how this has been progressing with all of you and with the channel, um, I of course want XRP to do well and believe it will and come in it. But I mean, with the channel doing well, I'll be honest with you, it's a blessing in and of itself, and I truly do mean that. Listening here from South Africa, welcome Bailey from South Africa. I appreciate you. How close are you to Djibouti? How far away from Djibouti are you in South Africa? I'm curious. That's all about almost all not myself, but I had several people I was stationed with were deployed over and spent time in Djibouti, Africa. Let's see here. All right. Annie, let's take a look at the chart. I'm having fun just kind of hanging out with you guys. 17, 18 of y'all on the stream. Keep asking the questions. We'll just do a Q&A and keep it going. I'm good with it. Let's look at the chart though, so you're not just looking at my ugly mug here. Let's see here. Pull up the chart and see what we're looking at. We can dive into it together and just enjoy the morning. Yeah, keep up. I can't see your channel being a great one with value. You can see. I appreciate that. I'm trying to bring a different feel to it. I feel like especially when I started too, and I noticed I caught myself doing it. I feel like there's with the crypto YouTube element, there's a lot of hype and not a lot of real info. And I feel like the people are craving that. And when I first started making videos, I wanted to do that. I wanted it to be more calm, more macro, more real information, real facts, more discussion on how things actually affect and play into each other in a real macro market. And I started that way, and of course, I wasn't getting a lot of traction, and I guess felt people didn't want to see that or hear that, and that really wasn't the case. It's just the YouTube algorithm hadn't figured out how to connect my thoughts and my information and my videos to the right people. And as I started getting connected to the right people and started making it more me, I feel like it's become more me over the last month of the channel. The channel has really responded, and that's completely in. That is so humbling. You have no idea. It's like, okay, people want you to be the real you and explain it the way you see it. And the more I've actually leaned into that and become more me, the better the channel has been performing. So I appreciate that, Janine. I yeah, so many channels are very, very annoying. You're right. I do the same thing. And when I'm trying to find info, and typically like a lot of I've found some channels that I like, and I still have to go pick through and coordinate what they're saying with maybe what's really going on in the macro element to get real clarity on it. But there are a lot of channels with really good information out there as well. I personally watch Zach Rector, and I personally watch Crypto Sensei. Crypto Sensei posts a lot of stuff. He has a lot of good information, but it's not always as connected as I would like it to be. But that's just me. It's not research I can't fill in myself. He still presents it in a very great, entertaining way that gets a lot of people to watch. Um, Authenticity will take you places. I hope so, Janine. Well, everybody, I am out of things to talk about. Price is rising right now. I think that's a great way to end it. Let's end with the price rising on a great Monday morning and a great start to the week. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, covering anything that happens between now and then and connecting any dots that we may need to figure out. So without further ado, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.